Last time on Dragon Ball EX, Gohan found himself face to face with a mysterious entity who had taken control over his father's body. While all may seem lost, Old Kai believes the two to be on equal footing. While whoever this body snatcher is indeed strong, Gohan is more or less just as powerful. As the other Z fighters become aware of the situation, how will Gohan fare alone in this battle?
The story is created by Sebliet as part of an ongoing series. Catch up Foley's in the links below.
So you finally decided to attack. Come on! You're too slow! You disappoint me! Huh? This is for Dende! Catching him by surprise, the villain actually starts to laugh a bit after getting socked by Gohan. He even shouts out to him that one actually hurt him. But even so, he will never win. The invader then realizes he's getting a taste of Saiyan biology. He doesn't know what's happening to him, but he's actually excited. Now it's my turn! Going back and forth, Kibito Kai's impressed that neither one of them seemed to be giving any indication of yielding. His elder adds that they both decided to go all out with their power from the beginning. But at this rate, they'll rapidly get tired, so this battle will likely be decided by means of endurance. Regardless, the energy they're spending just hitting each other is incredible. The villain bellows he wasn't wrong. Gohan is very powerful, but he has to reiterate he will never be able to beat him. Our hero wonders if this guy is really this confident, or if he's just boasting. Though, both warriors do appear winded. Meanwhile, on a faraway planet, an unknown person gazes into a smartphone-looking device in amazement. It's astonishing how useful this thing is. With only a piece of his clothing, it's able to track down his location. Now he gets why the others are so excited in its value. What intrigues him, however, is the technique Kakarot used to get so far away in such little time. The Saiyan-like being from before, he figures once he finds who he's looking for, all of his questions will be answered. If we take a close look at him, there's something awfully familiar about his belt and boots. At any rate, he walks off to what is surely a Frieza Force attack ball. While he regrets this pod is pretty old, it doesn't matter right now. It's the only means of transportation he has. Besides, this should be the last time he'll ever have to use it. He boards the vessel and comments he has a long journey ahead of him. Hopefully he'll be able to find a shortcut. But he can't contain his excitement. He can't believe he's going to meet Kakarot soon. The only time he ever got to lay eyes on him was when he was a newborn baby. His power level was so low that no one believed in him, even his own father. He himself was made responsible to raise Goku, but Frieza destroyed planet Vegeta just before he could find which planet he had been sent off to. However, when he had assumed he was as good as dead, fantastic news spread throughout the galaxy. Frieza had been defeated by a Saiyan. It was then he understood it was Kakarot's destiny to avenge the extinction of his people. He finally has the opportunity to see what kind of person he's become and witness his power firsthand. The stranger would have much loved to see his brother get to witness his son become the legendary Super Saiyan. This must mean this man is another uncle of Goku, just like Raditz. It can be speculated that his power was the lowest of the three brothers, which is why he was chosen to raise Goku while the others conquered planets. Before he gets ahead of himself, it's time to leave. But not being well versed in the ship's technology, he just kind of button smashes before finding the launch control. Meanwhile, in a much more comfortable spaceship, Vegeta climbs up to the main deck of the Capsule Corp pod and asks if their coordinates to Earth are locked in. And given they're already blasting through the cosmos, Goten informs him they are. He then comments that Vegeta looks really excited, but does he think he can beat him without transforming into a Super Saiyan 4? Prompting the prince to snip for a student to shut up. The boy reminds Vegeta that he doesn't have a tail, And even if the conditions of the planet they were just training on helped him reach Super Saiyan 3, they still can't control that transformation. And, again insisting he shut up, Vegeta knows. He also knows he'll have to rely on that machine again. He takes a seat to make a long-distance call. But a call? They can call people? Why didn't he ever tell Goten? And it's because he never asked. So this entire time he could have kept in touch with Felice. She's probably already forgotten about him by now. Naturally, Vegeta uses their communication system to call Bulma, who questions where he is. After explaining the two of them are on their way back to Earth, he inquires if they spotted Kakarot by chance, though she's only bewildered to what he's talking about. Nobody's seen him since the incident with the Dragon Balls. However, at the moment, there is some evil guy fighting against Gohan. He then tells her to get the Bloodswave generator to Gohan. He himself is heading that way and will be joining him as soon as possible. She agrees, but the only issue is she has to charge it first. Once that's done, she'll get it there. Still not one to talk more than necessary, the prince bids her goodbye. Trunks asks if that was his father, and if so, if he's on his way back. Bulma fills her son in on the situation. Trunks instructs Pan to stay here and wait for the machine. He's going to help Gohan in the meantime. Though the young girl at first has an objection to this, she decides to muffle her words, merely muttering, "Okay," pressing her son to be careful. Trunks promises he will be. Akame House. A news anchor elaborates they're showing again the last images of the most recent tragedy. Their team was broadcasting live from the East Capital when a huge explosion of unknown origin reduced the city to rubble. "We are here in the East Capital where the— Hey look! What's that?" On the other side of the TV, Krillin questions Roshi. "Wasn't that Goku?" Who ominously remarks he thought they would have more time. Asking what he's talking about, the old-timer explains that until now, he hadn't paid much attention to the scriptures of the old masters because he didn't get the meaning of their words. But with all this happening, he can see it all much clearer. The one who's fighting to the death with Gohan at this very moment is indeed Goku. But that can't be! There's no way! He must be wrong! It was Roshi himself who said it had to be an evil being. Though that is true. Simply put, Goku's not the same anymore. Of course, this just leads to more questions. The Turtle Hermit instructs Krillin to pay close attention. The story he's going to tell him was taught to him by his own master, Master Mutaito. He told him that ages ago, there were some wise men who discovered the mystery about ki control, and who were the owners of some mystical powers, like the ability to see the future. They had many visions about the coming days, prophecies which they wrote in verse. One that comes to his mind reads as follows: "The time is up. Fear the king from the sky with new face and strength. The being new body will adopt. In less than a wink, the city of sun will disappear. When the dragon to its end comes, the apostate its reign will begin. Crying, death, destruction. Matchless horror will impose those who before, with conviction, against the evil fought." He had never thought these words could be referring to Goku. It wouldn't be a bad idea to take a look at the Mashle Mabal, the book where these prophecies are written. Krillin can't deny that this does sound a whole lot like it's describing Goku, but couldn't it just be a coincidence? Roshi believes it to be too exact to be simple chance. He actually no longer carries any doubt about it. Their current enemy can't be compared with any they've ever faced before. Now they can only wait for a new savior. Die! Gohan! Endure, boy! Reinforcements are on the way! I don't feel his energy. I think I already killed him. Looking for me? Gah! Sending Goku careening into the ground. Gohan meets him there shortly after. He explains how he managed to avoid his attack an instant before the explosion. The villain chuckles. He never imagined that, during all his time in prison, people with huge powers like his could have appeared. But he wants him to know, up until this point he's only been having fun. The outcome is already decided, so there's no need for him to take this seriously. Gohan objects that if this were true, the Fiend wouldn't be fighting with all his power. Though his other retorts it's not that. But for what he sees, the two of them have almost the same power. However, he's not worried about it, because in the end, one of them will have to yield, and that will be Gohan. Who scoffs he shouldn't be so confident. Neither one of them have much energy left. This is still anyone's game. Ending this endless loop of a conversation, the imposter quips he doesn't care what he thinks. He'll understand when he's about to die. By the way, there's a technique he'd like to use that he believes has a lot of potential, so he wants to test it out. With a familiar form, we all know what's coming next. The cadences of Goku's signature attack echo through the wasteland. To Gohan, it's not so much that the villain's using this attack, but Gohan wonders if he's planning on putting the remainder of his energy into it. As the battle between evil Goku and Gohan reaches its apex, will the latter be able to hold out long enough for at least Trunks to arrive? And with Vegeta able to use the Bloods Wave generator to rival Goku's Super Saiyan 4, what other tricks does this monster have up his sleeve?